Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. I tell you, I started pulling them receipts out and could not stop. You have no idea. I mean, just receipt after receipt after receipt. At a certain point, I was just like, okay, I can't look at nothing else. Let me get on here before it gets any later. Hey, Legs, it's been too long. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see. Oh, wow, that fits perfect. That's a perfect fit. I can't believe it. Usually I have to do some adjustments, but that looks good. Please, sir, may I have another? Do you guys recognize that phrase? Please, sir, may I have another? Okay. You know what? I just realized when I made that super loud sound, it made the mic go out, and I just fixed it before you guys even noticed. So maybe that's what's happening with the mic. Maybe I'm just too loud. Please, sir, can I have another? All right. You know, you have to be careful with that family. Um, oh, yeah, I caught it, didn't I? I caught it. Thank you so much. All right. Yep, I noticed that the sound had went out. All that loudness and such. Okay, but we're back, I hope. All right, let's get to it, you guys. I have so much. Um oh, all right. There we go. So we will remember them. Remembrance Sunday. Yes, it is Remembrance Day, or it was in the United Kingdom and probably several other Commonwealth nations and such. And of course, remember the poppy. I think it had something to do with that was the only thing that was growing or blooming where there was a horrific battle. Is that right? I read it a long time ago, but I kind of forgot now. But anyway, yes, it is Remembrance Day. And then, of course, tomorrow is Veterans Day here in these United States, a day to remember the contributions of those who have served and protected us, those who have fought for freedom. And as I have said so often, it is very important that we separate the politicians from the soldiers because the soldiers in some cases, they're basically kids and they are going to answer the call and willing to sacrifice life and limb for their country. And so we have to separate one from the other. Um, I would like to think that if any of us, man or woman, was asked to serve to defend our country, whether we had a full understanding or not. The thing is, if you didn't go, someone else would go in your place. And would that be fair? And for those that volunteer, that's what makes their sacrifice so much greater, is because if they didn't go, someone else would likely go in their place. Won't have to worry about that with the next commander in chief of the United States. People look past the fact that they did not go and refused to go and came up with every excuse in the book. So, again, that makes the sacrifice of those who have served that much greater. But yeah, so anyway, I'm not going to get into that right now, but let's move on. Let's move on. And of course, one of our favorite veterans, the one who we have fought and in some cases sacrificed to defend because of their contribution not only to his own country but to every every nation, every soldier that has served, every brave man or woman that have put on a uniform and gone out there to defend their country. um, Harry's sacrifice is definitely noted. And well, he spent 10 years in the military, as you know, and he has been celebrated time and time again for his contribution. Um, what in the world is plus size fairy? I'm afraid to look. I'm afraid to look. What in the world is plus size fairy? Am I looking at that right? Plus size fairy? Oh, okay. I'm going to be nosy and take a look. Plus size fairy. So many images conjure up in my mind when I see that. I might be I might get in trouble if I said uh oh wait, how come I can't catch that? This is moving way too fast. There we go. Mm-mm. Oh, still plus size Sperry. There we go. How come I'm not able to do that one? There we go. Oh, okay. Body positivity. All right. Plus size Sperry. Good for you. Okay. All right, let's move on. Um, oh, and of course, the Royal Sussex symbol, which my nephew made for me, which I just love that. It's so deep and meaningful, right? It's almost like I can't describe that tone of blue, but it invokes something. Okay. Um, okay, that was a mistake. I didn't need that one. So I'm going to play this for you because Spare, the well, let me go here. Let me go here and I'll show you. Psychology Today. Why do the dysfunctional family dynamics in Prince Harry's Spare resonate with people? Because his story is so many other people's story, right? His story is so many other people's story. And because of that, especially any young person, anyone who as a child has suffered the loss of a parent, so much of what he said resonates with so many people. And even if you're not a child that lost a parent, even as an older adult, because you know what they say, you're never really an adult until until you lose a parent. So um, I had to go back. Oh, by the way, I don't know why. I don't know what Church Nelly looks like, but when I saw this um, picture of just some random woman reading Spare while she should be in church paying attention, for some reason that made me think of Church Nelly. Don't know why. Just some random woman, don't know who that is. Could be anybody. uh, but anyway, the Sunday Times bestseller list, the UK definition book chart. Um, anyway, Spare has, I think it has become number one in the UK for paperbacks. Yeah, anyway, it's on the list of bestsellers in the UK. The Sunday Times said so today. So, and of course, the paperback came out October 22nd. So, this is the second round of the Spare going to number one in the UK. So, to commemorate that, oh, wait, did I put the slide up for that? Oh, yeah. You know what? That's why I had to slide here. There it is right there. Sorry about that. I'm getting myself a little confused. Let me go to, there we go. And we can see a real, or here, see and hear a real, got it. We can see a real, I guess, book critic, someone who knows about these things. We can hear their take on the Spare. So let me grab that really fast. Is that it? Fudge. Sorry about my language, but fudge. Okay, where did I put that? Okay, Spare. Got it. And here goes.
This is my review of Spare by Prince Harry. This book is not as titillating as the media would have you believe. Spare is Harry's attempt to recenter the conversation on the trauma he suffered after the death of his mother. Trauma that shaped his entire life. Like her, he has been unfairly and inaccurately portrayed by the media, by people who have a significant stake in their defamation. But he's a real person whose humanity matters, and this book forces readers to address that. I've heard skeptics ask, if he wants his privacy so much, why did he write so much about his frostbite? But he's railing against having to live his life so much in the spotlight, as he is about having his character assassinated by strangers and family alike. So the more transparent he is about his personal life and his physical well-being, the more likely readers will believe him about the other abuses. And it is abuse. But there's also an important story here about a lost and traumatized young man who found discipline and validation by dedicating himself to a life of public service. A public that's met that commitment with a never-ending demand for his exploitation. What I thought I knew about Harry, and later Meghan, because she doesn't come in until like the final third of the book, is completely false. And they have the receipts to prove it. So if you are at all interested in his truth, Spare will keep you riveted. It is as fast-paced and relentless as a paparazzi chase. But this time, he's in control. Spare is a book about trauma, about grief, about healing, and about the redemptive quality of love. It's paradoxical, but it's not morally ambiguous. I give this 4 stars. I suggest downloading the audio so you can hear it in his own voice, because once you start this, you're not going to want to put it down, and the audio will make that a lot easier.
Okay, there you have it. As I said, it was a great book. And yes, the audio is the best way to experience Spare. So check this out, you guys. Seems like everything is not what it appears to be. All you got to do is take a look there and you can see Kate's signature is missing from this year's wreath. And those puffy eyes this morning, did she cry last night? Something feels off in the Wellses household, and it's not Kate's health. Oh, you guys, I tell you, the there's some people in the squad who have been dragging, not necessarily accepting this narrative about the royal family. One of the reasons why we question these things is because we know that if the shoe were on another foot, they would do the same. As a matter of fact, they and their minions have never stopped targeting our faves. And one of the ways I deal with that is to push back, which I love to do, push back every now and again. So that keeps them on their toes. That means the people that have been trying to defend them find themselves on the defensive. And if you are on the defensive, you're not really able to focus and concentrate on messing with other people, innocent people at that. So this is why we push back, because there has been a huge attempt to rewrite the history, to do the revisionist history, if you will, to try to recreate the circumstances that have us where we are today. And I am, it's breathtaking to see how they can twist. They take the slightest little thread and they yank on it. And then, of course, by the time they get through with it, you don't even recognize the person anymore. I remember Barack Obama said one time that if I did not know myself, if I had only heard the things that have been said about me, he said, I wouldn't like me either. And that's what's so, I guess, sinister about the propaganda and the gaslighting is that the individual begins to doubt themselves. And we know exactly what happened to the Duchess of Sussex when things had gone so far while she was in a very vulnerable state, pregnant with child in another country where, if you believe the papers, everybody seems to hate you. Your existence is causing a 1,000-year institution to decline, right? Not the slumlording and the bags of cash and the Uncle Andes and the Uncle Louis and such. None of that stuff has done it. Not the campaigns of war and colonization and empire. None of that was a problem. Just a 110-pound American woman who happened to fall in love with a prince. That's when things became problematic, right? Right. So anyway, let's see. What did I miss here? Leg says, how did Meghan, what is that? Was it M. Tyndall? Oh, Mike Tyndall book do? You know, I saw that on Twitter today. Someone was asking about Mike Tyndall's book. I don't think it do at all. I don't think it do or it does. I don't think. I don't think there was a stampede of people searching for the Mike Tyndall book. I don't suppose there was lines of people outside of the bookshops clamoring to claw through the aisles of books looking for the Mike Tyndall book. I just don't think that that's a thing yet. But until such time, thank you so much for the super chat. And it looks like that there is a message from the great beyond. So, you know what I have to do, don't you? I have to go from the here and now to the great beyond. So when I do that, I always do my intro. So let me do the intro. Oh, wait, there we go. All right. It says here, I, Queen Elizabeth II, ruler of the United Kingdom and deceased people, property, do hereby declare that it amuses me that, that my not so bright son is taking from the people. Sir, can you spare a shilling? I'm royally ticked. Royally ticked. Queen out. Well, thank you so much, Sean. We haven't heard from Her Majesty in quite some time. And it seems like not much has changed. She is still very, very put off with her heir, currently King Charles III. And well, anyway, I'm sorry she can get no rest down in that storm cellar. And I feel bad for the Queen because, at some point, if this chest infection does not clear up, she is going to spend all eternity with Camilla stacked on top of her. You know that, don't you? Could you imagine someone that you just loathe stacked on top of you in that great storm shelter over at the St. George Chapel? Ugh. Ugh. Camilla just laying on top of you for all eternity, or at least until some archaeologist starts cracking open those cases. But yeah, that's frightening. Anyway, Queen out. Thank you very much, Sean. And let's sign out from the Queen, shall we? Queen out. Okay. So just so that you can see the close up of this confusing situation, 2024, only William's name has been added to the card. If you look at 22 and 23, there is both Prince and Princess of Wales. How about a close up, just in case you're not sure? See there? There is William and Catherine. William and Catherine. But right there, it's only William for 2024. Wonder what that means. It's just like when there was that, remember the thing about the, gosh, what was it? Was it about Ukraine? And only William's name was on there, which was not like that years prior. It was always both names. But there's been a trend where William, ever since he declared that they were doing their royal engagement separately, has been the only person from Kensington Palace recognized. So very interesting that. You wouldn't know it, though, by the performance that they put on today. So I want you to take a look at that hat. What is that? Paula Girl says Queen Elizabeth is getting the more on top of her as karma. And oh, okay. All right. So take a look there. So you can see this is John. I think his name is Laughlin, whatever his name is. This is like the real super duper fan of the royal family. He's one of those people that always have banners and flags. And whenever there's a royal event, he is one of the main people that the royals look for in the crowd because he's always there, right? And I saw him on the day of Harry and Meghan's wedding. I was walking through Windsor and I saw his, little setup and all of his friends. I say, hey, I say, you're the super fan, right? No, I'm the royal supporter. I'm a royal supporter. Oh, okay. Um, as he stood there, haven't took a bath for a couple of days, I imagine. And of course, his skin flaking and peeling from the sun beating down on it as it was a very, I think, mild summer, spring day when Harry and Meghan got married. It was beautiful, as a matter of fact. Perfect weather. So, anyway, I met this guy before. He's nice, harmless. He loves the royal family. That's his kink, and it's okay. So you'll notice that his hat says, God save the Queen. God save the Queen. But when the Queen died and Charles became king, someone looks like a Banksy. I'm not sure if it is, but it says, God save my son. And someone else saw that and wasn't satisfied. And I don't know which of these are the Banksy, if either. But then someone else said, no, God save the people. God save the people. The people are the ones that need to be saved. I think the royal family are doing okay for themselves. So either way, great public murals. But the underlying message is instead of praying for the king, who supposedly has no authority or power, just he reigns, he doesn't rule. Instead of voting for his entitledness, or praying for his entitledness. Pray for the people. Pray for the people. And then if you take a look there, Peter Hunt says the power of the fettered royals' access. Well, what he's speaking of, I believe, he posted this today. On the left side is today's paper, where you can see, well, actually, last week's paper revealed list of properties that earn royals millions for top. I'm sorry, a list of properties that earn millions for top royals. Compare that to today's paper, where they're talking about the budget and they're talking about William and Kate. What the Queen really thought about Boris. No mention about all this property stuff. What property? Huh? Where's the big blaring headlines about property? I mean, that is the same Sunday Times. Weren't they the ones who helped break the story? Did they hear from the palace? Enough is enough. I mean, when you think about it, the story was released right alongside one of the biggest presidential elections in history. So that way you can kind of hide it in plain sight. And then you follow up the next weekend, and all you're talking about is how brave Kate is for doing her fifth engagement this year. Her fifth engagement this year. The Queen had more FaceTime with people dying of cancer, bone cancer at that, than Kate Middleton has had, because cells were present. She didn't have cancer. They found cancerous cells and decided, according to their story, to treat them. And the power of the monarchy, they managed to make that story disappear. Nobody's really talking about it. Well, save for just a few people, but I'll get to that some more. Let's see. Buried anywhere near me, like hell she will. Thank you, Your Majesty and Sean. Thank you. I would be really disappointed with myself if I overlooked that. So, like hell. Oh, oh boy, I tell you, all of them down in that storm shelter together. Now, take a look there. The king, as a way to try to get the type of favor from his subjects that he's used to or accustomed to, look at what happened here. King to open 2 food distribution hubs to mark his 76th birthday. You got it. He's about to go into the food bank business, sort of. But as someone else pointed out, no, King Charles III won't pay any inheritance tax on his massive gain. That was back in 2022, where they made it very clear that no matter what happens, Charles is not coming off no money. So no capital gains for him, but the food hubs that he's about to open up, there is no mention of where the food comes from, or if he's actually digging in his pocket or reaching into his Folsom and Mason shopping bags to come up with any money for it. That remains to be seen. As a matter of fact, the actual properties themselves, I'm a little curious to know if those properties are part of the Crown estate, or are they, personal property of Charles and the Duchy of Lancaster, will those properties actually pay rent for those spaces? And if they are paying rent, who are they paying? You know what I'm saying? It may not cost Charles anything really, because if it's his property, which may not even have a tenant at this time, I would imagine that whatever properties probably do not have tenants, but there are a lot of places on the high street throughout the UK that have been shuttered because there is no tenants for these commercial spaces. So what I'm guessing is, and I don't know this to be true, but probably some spaces, some real estate that is vacant right now. He's probably going to let them occupy it. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is, does this really cost him anything, or is this just good PR? I'll look into it for you, though. I tell you what, I will look into it because I'd like to know. It seems to me like with someone who has however many thousands that is of spaces, property to let or lease, seems like you probably got a couple of empty spaces on the high street that you can allow someone to hang a food bank sign on it. And then, of course, they will solicit the local supermarkets for out of date goods and then just distribute them like that. So I don't want to seem like I'm, being shady by pointing this out, but I'm just wondering, how much does this really cost him? Or is this just some good PR? That's all I'm saying. I would be curious to know. Now, to continue here, the king to open up food distribution hub to mark 76th birthday. The hub's designed to save and circulate tons of surplus food. Now, does that give you a hint of where the food is coming from? Are part of the Coronation Food Project, which is marking its first anniversary. So it sounds like an existing agency, right? And they are expanding because there are more people in need of food than ever before. So I'm willing to go out on a limb and say I imagine that they're just putting the king's name on it, right? And if that helps, God bless them. But it just sounds like they're going to put his name on it, associate it with him, and of course, the PR will do the rest. That's what I'm getting from this. But sorry if I'm being overly cynical, but it is timed perfectly to draw attention away from this whole thing about himself and William and their huge real estate portfolio. The fact that they have been charging money for their properties, not only to not for profit agencies, but the military, the local ambulances are paying for storage. I mean, these are places that are not even making profits. And so the only person making some profits is Charles, or per sons, William. It is an absolute scandal, and they will not let anyone touch it. For all intent and purposes, I think the whole thing is um, going to just slip under the waves and wash out into the ocean, and we're probably not going to hear about it again for some time. But we'll see. We'll see. I just think anybody as cruel and as selfish and as mean as William and Charles have been to the Sussexes, I think they deserved to, you know, to be the subject of such criticism. I think they deserve it. I want this for them. Desperately want this for them. Let me see. Where's that thing at for the food banks? Food bank. Do I still have that? I wanted to show you that statistic for the food banks, and I don't think I have it. But it was showing the amount of food banks today in comparison. Oh, there it is right there. There it is right there. You got to see this. You got to see this. See that? In 2008-9, the number of people receiving 3 days worth of emergency food by Trussell Trust food banks in the United Kingdom. Compare that to today. Back in 2009, there were 25,000, might as well say 26,000 people that received the emergency 3 days worth of food. Fast forward to 2021, and it was 2 million, not 26,000, 2.6 million people, 2.6 million people that received emergency food. And from that time to this time, do you mean to tell me that Charles is only just reacting? He's only just reacting for the first time? Seems like that's a topic that he should never stop talking about as they plan for a state dinner. Seems like that should be a continuous project. Man the phone banks or some type of charity. Now, I have another little soundbite for you. Wow, the way Chris Ship with a P, not a T, tried to sidetrack the producers of Dispatches into believing that if it was about the Sussexes, the Fail would, meaning of course the Daily Mail, would have made a big thing out of it, and that the news was full of that person. Anyway, let me just play it for you. You got to hear this one, you all. I got a lot to cover, so I need to keep moving. Do not let me get too distracted. I got a lot to cover, so do not let me get too distracted. Check 1, 2, 3. Yes, the microphone is working. Okay.
Tough on landlords. Properties that the Duchy of Cornwall are responsible for were failing.
Before we wrap up, a really quick question. We could talk about this for a very long time, but what Lizzie, have you made of the sort of follow-up of this story? I mean, I suppose the suggestion would be, had this been Harry and Meghan's finances pulled apart, you might have expected the Daily Mail to go very big on it. Because it's William and Kate, they didn't.
I mean,
Do you agree?
what's
the follow-up be?
No, there was quite a lot of follow-up after Sunday, after the Dispatches and the Sunday Times, I think. I mean, it's this week has been dominated by by an election.
They had it on another Sunday.
Well, yes, but I mean, can I, if I may, can I ask you guys a question? You cover the royal beat. I don't. Whilst this program was getting to air, we've seen ITV prominent documentaries on William and homelessness. We've seen the coverage in the news of the Earshot Prize. As far as I'm aware, in that reporting, none of this has been folded in. William was giving an interview yesterday. I don't think he was asked a question about these findings. This is the most watched Dispatches of the year, the most watched program on Channel 4 last weekend. Now at 14 million interactions on social media. So there's a conversation going on out there, and it seems to me that there's no account. So Chris, if you were, would you put that question? Can you put those questions to William as a royal correspondent?
There is that argument that if you were to start a question, you get pulled away by the. I mean, that's what has happened before. And actually, I did politics before this job, and often you get sort of tapped on the shoulder very hard-handedly by David Cameron's press as well.
Sure.
It is very difficult when you're doing the.
But at least you're asking the question.
Yes, and.
Oh boy, do they know how to dance around that, don't they? So in other words, no. Unless it's about Harry and Meghan, there is no equivalency. There's no equivalent. Unless it's about Harry and Meghan, then it just won't get that much attention. If it's Harry and Meghan, they would talk about it around the clock, well into the weekend, deep into the night, and so on and so forth. Not charging, but swindling the British people, taking them for fools. Sorry. Let me see here. Okay, looking at a couple of your comments here. All right, let's keep it moving then. Please, sir, may I have another? I got carried away with that image. You can see that. Of course, I made the thumbnail, but I didn't use this background because he kind of gets lost in it. So poor little Oliver just isn't getting enough food, is he? Or how about this? Perhaps in one of their drawing rooms or something. Please, sir, may I have another? Or how about this one? As they're out for a walk, strolling along the mall, and they just happen to encounter the young lad in front of Buckingham Palace. And still, they don't have anything for him. What a pity. Or how about here? Even on the balcony, during the Trooping of Colors, they'd rather him starve than to share anything with him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was having fun with that one. All right. And so I got another soundbite for you. Someone asked a question about the coverage to the BBC, accusing the BBC of not reporting enough. And let me grab that one for you.
The big royal story on the BBC this week was Prince William's trip to South Africa to announce the latest winners of the Earthshot Prize, which he founded 5 years ago to support sustainable, eco-friendly projects around the world. Royal correspondent Daniela Ralph reported on the awards from Cape Town.
Prince William wore a sustainable blazer from a vintage shop and biodegradable trainers as he walked the green carpet at the Earthshot Award ceremony.
Sunny Bonani, Dumelang.
But the attention of many royal watchers was elsewhere, on an investigation by Channel 4's Dispatches programme and the Sunday Times, which found the royal family has received millions of pounds of income in rent from the NHS, schools and the armed forces. Angela Herlihy thought the BBC should have paid more attention to those revelations. I cannot be the only viewer who is wondering why the huge story broken by Channel 4 and the Sunday Times on the royal finances has not been touched by the main news outlets. She wasn't. A viewer called Billy also contacted us. Twice this week, the royal family, particularly Prince William, have been given puff pieces on his environmental and humanitarian work. This coming after Channel 4's documentary on the Duchies of Lancaster and Cornwall. No mention of any of this. If the BBC is meant to be impartial, I feel this should also apply to the royal family. We put those points to BBC News and they told us. Weekend bulletins have limited space, and that day covered stories about the Valencia floods, the US election, Gaza, and the announcement of the new Conservative leader. BBC News did cover the story, and you can find the report on our website.
Sounds just like, what's her name yesterday, doesn't it? Oh gosh, what that one with the piranha face? What is her name? Oh, Jeannie Bond. Sounds just like Jeannie Bond. Excuses, excuses, excuses. presidential election or not. They find time to talk about everything else. As a matter of fact, they found enough time to insert the royal family into the coverage of the presidential election. Will he have another state dinner? Will they give us a favorable trade deal? Are the tariffs going to affect us all? Oh, don't forget about Harry's immigration status. All of those things they managed to find time to talk about. But when it comes to the deliberate and consistently greedy behavior of both the Duchy of Cornwall and the Duchy of Lancaster, mum's the word. Nobody wants to talk about it. Oh, well, we talked about that already. It was never the big front page headline in the Daily Fail, ever. It wasn't the big blaring headline. But when it comes to Harry and Meghan, everything is a big blaring headline. So there you have it. Let me continue. And in the meantime, let me just say, hello, Ivy here. Hello. Bye for now. Bye from Ivy. Bye. I haven't said that in a while, have I? Hello, Ivy here. Let me see. There we go. So here's a little interesting exchange. Journalists should never really become the story, but what happens increasingly frequently, there's a good balanced discussion here for 42.23, something about the media coverage of the royal family after the story about the duchies taking money from the UK taxpayers. Then, of course, enters that bootlicking Richard Palmer's next words. Interesting to hear Jeannie Bond say that she was shocked by the revelations in the Dispatch program, but also good to, points made about the news cycle moving so quickly in a busy week, which, of course, was what Jeannie Bond said. And then, of course, Kenzie Schofield, who always seems to have trouble keeping an eye on things, also appears let me see, and whatever that FWIW, I'm guessing there'll be more on this on Sunday. Well, I showed you the Sunday Times front page just a minute ago. Did you see anything about this? Where is it? Oh gosh, do I have to go back that far? Anyway, I just, there it is on the right side there. So that's the Sunday Times for this week. Where is it? That's the Sunday Times, the ones who broke the story last week. You see William talking about I'm a royal with a small r, right? You see something about the budget for Tesco fuel prices. You see something about what the Queen really thought of Boris Johnson. But where's the thing about the budget? I mean, about the what you call it report, the Dispatch report. Where is that? It was there last week, but it's not there this week. Huh? So, Spirit of Diderot says, thanks, Richard. Although some of Jeannie Bond's excuses for the royal rota didn't run with the story, rather stretch credibility, the painful fact is that many of your colleagues are complicit in supporting the royals, as they would lose access if they challenged them. And then Richard retorts with, all bar one or two Sunday papers ran a story thanks to the embargo lifted at 1600 on Saturday, and some of us getting to watch a preview. And most Monday papers contain stories. Since then, numerous columnists and letter pages have tackled the subject. Really? Did they tackle it like with the vigor of Lilibeth's name? Huh? Did they tackle it with the same vigor? And of course, Spirit says, true, but those on the SA trip, South Africa, didn't ask him about it once. Had he been a politician, they would have done so. Or not just politician, how about a global statesman? Since he's a global statesman, don't you field those type of questions when you're a global statesman? When you're a global statesman, aren't you subject to be questioned about just about anything at any given time? Huh. Seems like that would be the case. And then Richard says, to be fair, the program and the Sunday Times did such a comprehensive job. There wasn't an immediate, obvious follow-up to take the story on. Again, I'm just comparing this to anything to do with Harry and Meghan. Even when they have nothing to talk about, there's something to talk about. There's been very little debate in Parliament. It would have been good to hear William's thoughts, but perhaps we'll hear more soon. You just can't keep repeating, and this is my favorite part right here. You just can't keep repeating the same story. The two duchies did provide responses. Jeannie is right there. That is often a busy beat. And the news cycle moves on, but I suspect the media will return to this subject. Will they? How could they return to this subject if Kate has worked for the 5th time in 2024? How could they return to this subject if William say it's been a tough year? How could they return to this subject if Charles has been pretending to evict his brother? How are they going to return to that subject? Kate does not have cancer. I can't say has. Kate does not have cancer and maybe never have. What else? William is stressed. It's been a tough year for everybody. How are you going to? Oh, and let us not forget the dragon lady, Godzilla Parker Bowles, has a chest infection. So when do you come back to this? When do you come back to it? I would love to see what is the justification to come back from something you never should have left in the first place. If you can't do two things at once, cover a presidential election in another country and speak about the most entitled people in the land, what are you there for? What are you there for? What do you have all these multiple reporters? Everybody who has a column or a website or whatever, everybody has gone after Meghan's red dress. If they would have addressed this with the same intense coverage that they covered Meghan's red dress, why she wear, what she wear, did she wear, what happened to the other part of it? What about that? What about isms? What about that? They had all that time to talk about that red dress, but they have given very little oxygen to one of the biggest stories, or what should be one of the biggest stories in all of 2024. The hell with the presidential election. I mean, you still got that a-hole over there. What difference does it make? Richard Palmer, who occasionally will say something intelligent, is covering for Jeannie Bond's silly response. Jeannie Bond's response was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. As a matter of fact, it was so embarrassing, I have to play it for you again. No, I have to. I just have to. I insist. I am going to do it. I insist. Because she came up with every excuse in the book why they could not cover this in greater detail, why they couldn't give it any more oxygen. Okay, let me grab that and let me find it. Jeannie Bond, where are you? Making up stuff as usual. Oh, okay. Oh, is this it? Yeah, I think so.
I think in general, yes. Jenny Bond, do you think this kind of scoop could have come from a royal correspondent? I imagine conspiracy theorists might say people can't do this because, I'd be just looking today. People have been getting interviews with Prince William today because of the Earthshot Prize. But actually, if you'd run this story or done this story yourself, you might have not been given access as a royal correspondent on that key tour and to that key interview. That's a possibility. I think that there are two things on that. One, you're so busy on the royal beat. I really can't tell you how busy a beat it is. 1 minute, your head's being turned in one direction. Fergus having a toast up by a financial advisor. William's doing this. There's a divorce. There's a disaster. The castle's on fire. People are leaving the royal family. I mean, it is an incredibly busy beat, and there is not time to go through or discover 5,000 documents and then analyse them. There simply isn't. Do they do a good enough job, though, of scrutinising the monarchy royal? I really can't tell you how busy a beat it is. 1 minute, your head's being turned in one direction. Fergus having a toast up by a financial advisor. William's doing this. There's a divorce. There's a disaster. The castle's on fire. People are leaving the royal family.
I tell you, when that heifer said the castle's on fire, you could have bought my ass for a nickel. When she said the castle's on fire, I wasn't no good. You know that, don't you? Well, your head's turning every which direction, and then one does a royal divorce, and the castle's on fire. Really? All of that happens on a weekly basis. There's a royal divorce. There's something about William. The castle's on fire. That happens every week, Jeannie Bond. That happens every week. So that means every week, Queen Elizabeth, for 70 years, gave another speech, just like she did in 1992. Because that's what caused that speech to happen, was a fire. You guys, I know I have been really dwelling on this, but it's just the hypocrisy that is breathtaking to me. The hypocrisy. What they do and don't have time for. That's what bakes my noodle. What they do and do not have time for.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't got time for it.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I ain't got no time for that. Jeannie Bond. What am I going to do with Jeannie Bond? I like her when she's talking sensible, when she's saying something intelligent. But then, as I said, some very, very good writers, some very intelligent people, they have reduced the public to the lowest possible denominator. They talk to us like we're children so that they can make a case for this antiquated institution that should not exist in a modern world. And again, if it wasn't for the mistreatment of an African American woman, I wouldn't even be thinking about it. But since they have caught my attention, I can't shut up. Take a look at that. Take a look at it. Sick King Charles can't control Prince Andrew and Prince William. You mean the Daily Beast is getting in on it too? The Daily Beast is helping the royal family by pointing out how sick Charles is? He ain't too sick to cash those checks. He ain't too sick to look at his account balances. He ain't too sick to buy antiques and fill his home and his muse with all of those exotic cars that he loves so much. He ain't too sick to do that. He ain't too sick to pay for Camilla's children, giving them royal protection of whatever degree, right? And he don't even live with that beast. She has her own house. She's not convalescing at Highgrove. She's not convalescing over at where does she live at? Sawdust Mill or whatever the name of her house is. Something Mill. Mill Stream. Whatever the name of it is, she's at the house that she owns, that she's had with her ex-husband, the one who has given his approval. As they say, some men will lay down their life for the king, and some men will lay down their wife for the king. He has chosen the latter. He has laid down his wife for the king. And so, in an instant, the Sun, the Daily Express, the Daily Mail, the Sun, Sunday Express, and a few other papers, they're talking about what a terrible year that it's been for William and his family. Oh, it's just been dreadful, isn't it? I bet you it really got bad when he found out that it wasn't cancer. I wonder what he thought when he found out that they weren't really, treating cancer, that there were precancerous cells. It keeps changing, so I'm not sure exactly what to call it, because for months, the papers have been saying cancer-stricken Kate, cancer-stricken Charles. But that's not the case, is it? Not for her. We'll never know, really. We'll never know. And then, of course, with that smile plastered all over her plumped, enhanced face, however they did it. I don't know how they did it, but somehow they managed to do something for her. Prince William has revealed that he and Catherine aim to start foreign tours together again next year. The couple had to cancel trips on behalf of the government, including a visit to Rome this year because of the princess cancer treatment. Okay, I'm not even going to bother with that one. Because of the princess cancer treatment, details in tomorrow's mail on Sunday. So they're going to go back to doing those tours again. I can't wait because I'm going to drag them from A to Z. I cannot wait. Some of the best fun that I've had in my life was Will and Kate in the Caribbean. So I will look forward to the decimation of the uh, Commonwealth or whatever else they're going to do. I'm sure to be a disaster. It usually is. Now, let me move myself out the way here. Kate and Will's endless PDA. Oh, Lord, try not to vomit. Oh, they touched each other. He touched her back. She looked at him. He looked at her. He touched her back again. She pat him on the bum. It's the usual excessive coverage about that non existent affection between the two of them. They were on their best game. And I don't just mean Will and Kate, but the entire family. This was a tour de force performance by the Windsors. I kid you not. Tour de force. Even Sophie got in on the PDA. Sophie's solemn support. Sophie's solemn support. That old heifer nearly tripped getting back in there. That's what it was. She almost stumbled and she needed something solid to put her hand on, and she just happened to be there. I doubt if there was any affection. Maternal hand, echoing William, warmth. Really? Really? In what universe did that happen? You wait, there's more. So I decided to use the Hollywood movie reel backdrop because of all of this performative pantomime activity going on. I thought, since I cannot give them a BAFTA or an Oscar or anything equivalent to that, I will just use the backdrop of the cinema as I describe what we're seeing here. And of course, I told you guys yesterday, I said, oh, they managed to tighten, pull, plump. They did a lot for her to get her into that Royal Albert Hall looking pretty decent, I would say. She looked very good last night. But didn't I say just wait until the Remembrance Day? You remember me saying that? I say just wait. The truth shall be revealed tomorrow. Just wait. As they say, a thing of beauty is a joy until sunrise. When you ain't got nothing but overhead light, the truth comes out. It always does. It always does. There's only one person, and I'm not even going to name that person, but there's only one person who can stand at those windows and, make it work. But as for the rest of them, for the rest of them, it does something. Oh, so she can get with William, huh? So she can be the next Princess of Wales. She was kind of studying that crown, sitting on top of the Queen's coffin. Hey, Church Nelly, thank you so much for joining us. Okay. And then, of course, here's another great performance. Here's yet another great performance. This was Kate. I think it was last year, was it? I think maybe this was last year, where Kate decided to echo the Queen or nod to the Queen, or you know how they always say that Kate nods the Queen or echoes the Queen. Oh, has there been another land speed record? I missed that one. And then, of course, there goes that mouth again. Somebody's mouth is askew. In order to make this performance work, and trust me, it was nothing but a performance. In order to make this performance work, someone who is as detached from the Second World War as you could possibly be, Kate stood there biting her lip, grimacing, looking up, looking down. This is what they do. The only person that has ever had a real attachment in that family was Harry. Even the sick old man never really saw any type of battle or anything like that. His life was never in jeopardy when he was in the Falkland Islands. There's no one in that family alive today that has any attachment with war but Harry. No one. And yet Kate, who is what is she, honorary colonel of the Lululemons or something? Isn't she like the commander in chief of the Lululemon pants? I forgot what her title is, but well, I tell you what, Connie Palmer. Hey, Connie Palmer. I tell you what, she is pulling off the look, you know, by standing in the window and grimacing and all that kind of stuff. And the very unflattering light makes it seem as though she's been in that family for much longer than, what has it been, 13, 14 years? Well, I know she's been around the family for over 20 years, but yeah, she's going to fit right in. She's going to do well. But this is like one of the best Remembrance Day performances that she's ever had. Because of whatever that treatment was, which wasn't necessarily cancer, whatever that treatment was, now she has street credit. You hear what I'm saying? Now she got street cred. Now she just stand there and make those faces, and the tabloids will fill in the rest. The tabloids will say she's probably thinking about this, as if she thinks. The tabloids will say that she's probably referencing that, she's giving a nod to someone, dead or alive, it doesn't matter. But they will fill in the blanks. All she has to do is show up. As a matter of fact, all any of them have to do is show up. Now, take a look at these. I'm telling you guys, the devil has been busy today. What Kate said to Sophie. See what I mean? See how that fits in there? I just said, all you have to do is stand there and bite your lip, and the tabloids will fill in the spaces. Let me see here. Okay. What Kate said to Sophie. Wait, let me make sure you all can hear me. Okay, you can. Touching balcony conversation between Princess of Wales and Duchess of Edinburgh is revealed by lip reader as Kate opens up about special cenotaph display. And expert lip reader Jackie, is her name Jackie Press? Told the, is that a real name? Told the Mail Online that the Princess of Wales conversation with the Duchess of Edinburgh on the balcony at the cenotaph is this morning reveals some nerves I don't get it. And then, of course, Sophie's touching show of support for Kate, the Duchess of Edinburgh, 59. She's only 59? Seriously, she's only 59? I thought she was older than that. Hell, I thought Kate was 59. Okay, anyway. Untouching show of support. The two women left the balcony following 2 minutes silence. Uh-huh. And then, of course, emotional Kate watches Prince William and King Charles lay wreaths at poignant Remembrance Sunday service as the nation falls silent in tribute to glorious dead. Kate Middleton's Remembrance Day pain. Oh, here we go, y'all. Emotional Princess of Wales appears sad but regal, as Cenotaph says body language expert. Sad but regal. I don't know why that third picture, see the third one? I'm talking about at the top on the right. I don't know why it looked like she's trying not to laugh. I don't know why it looks like she's trying to not laugh. I'm just saying, you guys, am I being overly cynical? Because to me, it seems like she wants to cut up. And lastly, Robert Hartman. This is to unite the nation. The courage of the Princess of Wales on parade, and a sign of what matters most to the royals. A sign of what matters most to the royals. Oh, do tell. Oh my God. You guys, I'm telling you, this has been a great performance. This is what the royals do best. When they say this is what the royals do best, they do. They do. They can pull this crap with the best of them. Looking stoic when they have to, got the chest stuck out and the shoulders back. And you know the one who do the most, don't you? I'm going to show you the one who do the most. The one who couldn't take basic training. Her. That's the one who do the most. Edwina, who couldn't cut it for a couple of weeks and went running back home to mommy. This one right here, always looking so serious and stoic and so determined to represent the crown and then, of course, wearing that bespoke maxi coat, a coat which does not exist for anyone else. And I don't know why I think that's his daddy's coat, but I'm thinking that's his daddy's coat, when, you know, when his father was taller. But yeah, nobody else, and I do mean nobody else in the military has a coat that long. This poor child is about to trip over this coat. And that's why that year when they said that there was some woman that was face down in the pavement, I thought for sure that that was Edwina. I'm like, see that? She done tripped over that coat. I knew that coat. I knew that coat was too long. I knew it was just a matter of time before she tripped over that coat. Didn't I tell y'all she was going to trip over that coat? I thought for sure. Turns out it wasn't Edwina. It was someone else, some other woman. But hell, I thought it was. Yep, woman face down in the pavement. Edwina. Anyway, let's move on. And of course, as I said, Kate, who has so little respect for her position, actually went out to do maneuvers with the military, right? She was going to do drills or whatever. And instead of putting on some cargo pants, khaki pants, or the regimental, fatigues, what did she do? She reached in that closet and grabbed a pair of Lululemon yoga pants and showed up. Lululemon. Kate. Lululemon. Now, I'm going to tell you, the only reason why she did that is because William went to Singapore and she was not invited to go with, and she wanted some attention. That's why she wore those. It is insulting to the military. It shows that she's not serious about her ceremonial role. Could you imagine if Meghan, who they are so hypercritical of, could you imagine if Meghan had showed up wearing some Lululemon pants, prancing around all those soldiers? Could you imagine that? We never would have heard the end of it. We never would have heard the end of it. As a matter of fact, that would be one of those topics that they would find the time for, in spite of what Jeannie Bond says. Oh, they would find the time to talk about this. How disrespectful Meghan was to the military. I mean, those pants don't leave a lot to the imagination, but for some reason, the 40-something-year-old mother of three and mother of the future king left the house looking like she's in a Zorro movie. And nothing was said about it. This was so disrespectful on so many levels. And nothing was said about it. We never would have heard the end of it. And yet there she is, prancing around like it's nobody's business, wearing Lululemon yoga pants in front of all those soldiers. What does that say about judgment? There's someone has said, what's her name? Tina Brown or whoever said Meghan has the worst judgment. Does she? Does she? What is this for judgment? What does this say about judgment? Prancing around in front of the military, she got so little regard and so little respect that she thought that outfit was a good idea. Where's the outrage? Where's the outrage? There was none. They just didn't even talk about it. They didn't say how great she looked or anything. They just did not say. Because Catherine can do no wrong. No matter how tasteless or how vulgar it is, Catherine can do no wrong. I could not believe it. There, but for the grace of Lululemon, there, but for the grace of Lululemon goes thy. And what is said of it? Nothing. Nice work if you can get it. Nice work if you can get it. It must be nice to be the most protected of the species, where you can make no mistakes. I would say this was a major wardrobe failure. Almost as bad as showing up to see the president of South Korea stepping out of the state Bentley with your legs showing like that. That's all. Hypocritical. Let me see. With all those extensions, can they afford to a clip for those upper and lower jowls? I know they got some money, something you can pay premium for. You stop reading my mind. You stop reading my mind, because I was thinking that they had gone through some extraordinary measures to make last night possible. And then, of course, today, I guess they just say F it. Oh, I guess today they were just like, yeah, who cares? But yeah, that's what I was thinking, was that last night, remember I said somehow they managed to plump, enhance. That's what I was trying to say without saying it. And maybe, I don't know, maybe things were just too overdone for today or something. But yeah, that's what I was thinking yesterday, is that everything they had used a little Hollywood magic to do that. Oh well. Let me see. I wish I could find that video for her Lululemons. I didn't think about that today. Now I'm just like, gosh, I wish I could find that. Yeah, but no bueno. I cannot find it. Let me see here. Nope. Military. Nope. I don't see it. Oh, well, next time. Because you know I made a video. Cannot find it. Because you know, when I build a case, I build a case. Okay. I don't see it. Oh, but I do see this one though. So apparently they thought with the announcement that okay, I'll show you. Hold on a second here. Yeah. Okay. They thought that since there was an announcement that Kate was going to go to the cenotaph, SAP cenotaphs, whatever they call that thing. They thought since there was going to be, that everybody was gonna fill the streets and pour out to see Saint Catherine, but nothing could be further from the truth. Let me see. Do I have that one? Oh boy, I tell you, I am batting 1,000 today. I do not have it. Let me see if I have it. I don't know. Maybe I don't have a video for. Oh, it's that I don't have a video. I just have the photo. But yeah, as you can see, they put all those barriers up for the Remembrance Day, thinking that the streets would be flooded with people for the occasion. But as you can see, there is a total lack of interest. Now, to be fair, there were a lot of people at the actual, I think that's the military headquarters, whatever they call that place, the Ministry of War, whatever. But along that route, there was little or no interest. So that is why you see all of these barriers. You see the police standing there. And see, when the police are along these routes, they used to face away from the crowd. But ever since the Queen had that incident where the guy fired that starter pistol, they have been trained to face the crowd to look for any threats. Well, there's not much of a crowd. And as you can see, there's not much by way of police. They pretty much are just sparsely available because there's not really that many people. Nobody showed up. And it's not raining. It did not rain today, but nobody showed up. And there was a interview with these young ladies. And it was about the Scotty's Little Soldier. So I'm going to play that sound for you. I can't play the video because I do believe it is Sky News. So let me play that for you.
Somebody who's a supporter and has been of the charity for a long time, Prince Harry. What did he send everybody who's going to be here today?
Prince Harry sent all the children a bag of sweets with us, so when we're standing there waiting to go, we've got something to eat, so don't get hungry.
Very, very important.
Some are missing already.
I've already eaten some.
Have you been out? Nikki, did you get any? Quite cold. And somebody who's a supporter and has been of the charity for a long time, Prince Harry. What did he send everybody who's going to be here today?
Prince Harry sent all the children a bag of sweets with us, so when we're standing there waiting to go, we've got something to eat, so don't get hungry.
Very, very important.
Some are missing already.
I've already eaten some.
Have you been out? Nikki, did you get any? Just take us through the charity, because I know, Nikki, we were talking and saying it's been quite.
Okay. Elaine Parker, you are so right. No one turned up at the Royal Albert Hall either. And that one I know I have. So let me cut to that one. You can see once again all those barriers and no crowd. It's so quiet you can hear a rat piss on cotton. I know, Connie Bomber. It's very sad. They used to be so, I was going to say popular, but I guess not so much popular, but they used to be so. That's it. They used to be so. Now they're not so. Okay. So anyway, that was a little sound bite of Scotty's Little Soldiers. And, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to scare y'all like that. Prince William aiming to carry out duties with a small R in the royal. You heard him, with a small R. Whatever does that mean? Asked about whether he is consciously doing tours. Doing tours and royal engagements in a different way. William said, I can only describe what I am trying to do, and that's trying to do it differently. And I'm trying to do it from my generation, and to give you more of an understanding around it. I'm doing it with maybe a smaller R in the royal, if you like. That's maybe a better way of saying it. Elaborating on what that means to him, the he's only 42? I don't know why I thought he was older than that. The 42-year-old said, so it's more about impact, philanthropy, collaboration, convening, and helping people. And I'm also going to throw empathy in there as well, which is what a sociopath does. Not to say that he's a sociopath, but a sociopath doesn't have real feelings. And so they spend their lives mimicking reactions based on what they've seen and experienced from other people. So not saying that he's a sociopath, but it's something that a sociopath would say, meaning that if he was a sociopath, he would say something like, and I'm going to throw some empathy in there. Just like if you're a real global statesman, you don't say you're a global statesman, you just are. So if you are empathetic, you don't say empathy, you just are. Large R. But see what I did there? See what I mean? It's as though he doesn't have real, genuine emotions like most human beings. Everything is make-believe. And I'm also going to throw empathy in there as well, because I really care about what I do. It helps impact people's lives. And I think we could do with some more empathetic leadership around the world. Speaking about his specific environmental and homelessness projects, as well as possibly his future role ahead, the first in line to the throne said, so that's what I'm trying to bring. That's what Catherine is trying to bring as well. Okay, so much for we. There is no I in we. Oh, well, anyway, like I said, it's amazing about what he has to bring up and speak up and have others say about him, rather than just doing the work or being that person. Everything for him requires an announcement, a proclamation, if you will. Very strange. As I said, today was one of their best performances. It really was. I am going to give credit where credit is due. Everybody looked like they were real experienced military people. Charles led one to believe that he was capable of real leadership instead of being petty and vindictive. William, much the same. And of course, Edwina, with her bespoke maxi coat, was just glad nobody was paying too much attention to her. And of course, the what would I say about Afro Annie? I guess the only real man in the family, Afro Annie. Um, that's it. I don't need to add anything else to that. The Channel 4 presenters didn't hold back. Presenter Gene Johansson, or is it Johansson, says the royal family needs to go or at least have its finances investigated. She also said the King Charles III and Prince William, the Prince of Wales, were milking the money and accused William of hypocrisy, says Sussex Soldier. The King and the Prince William slammed blah, 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 blah. So I'm not going to go through this. If y'all want to see this, this is what paper was that? I forgot which paper it was, but anyway, the title of it is King Charles, Prince William slammed by Channel 4. Star as she blasts hypocrisy. So more of that. If only there were more articles that said the same. And that is a continuation of the article. The Channel 4 Star went on. Is that a show, Channel 4 Star? Is that like a news show? Had a chance to create something new and form more modern monarchy, but claimed changes must be made to do so. Such changes, she suggests, could start with selling off some of his family land to build homes instead of making a PR film. Yes, Queen. Exactly. Instead of making those slick PR films, like at the beach and walking through fields of grain and all that kind of stuff, or being late for the coronation because you and the film crew were busy trying to get one more take. Instead of doing that, how about you lead from the front instead of, watching on the sidelines? That makes a lot of sense. Sell off some of that stuff and build something. Yeah, donate some land. You got the royal family is the largest landholder in Britain. The largest landholder in Britain. In the United States, the US government is the largest landholder. In Britain, the largest landholder is not the government, but the royal family. Make that make sense. How about that? Yeah. So there you go. I like her. Anyway, if you know what Channel 4 Star is, let me know because I don't know what that is. Okay. So Queen wants Camilla to be a queen consort when Charles becomes king. You all remember this, don't you? Accession Day 2022, 70 years of Queen Elizabeth. Monarch expresses sincere wish in candid message marking 70th anniversary of her accession. So since the Queen died September, what was it, the 8th? Every year, Charles will mark the Accession Day, which is a mixture of celebration and sadness. Celebrating the new king or queen, sad because you have to reflect on the other one, the one that died. So for Charles, there's never been much celebration. He's only had a couple of times to do something, and both times there was not much to it. And of course, his coronation, even less than that. So this was that day that the queen sat there in her office and she said in front of the cameras that she wanted Camilla to be known as queen consort instead of princess consort. Now, rightfully, she is the queen consort, but they were going to use princess because they thought there would be too many people thinking about Princess Diana and the fact that, well, she really should be queen right now. So that was one of the promises that Charles made in the past, is that she would never be known as the Princess of Wales, just the Duchess of Cornwall. And then when the Queen dies, she would never be known as the Queen Consort, let alone the Queen. All of that was just a big ruse to get people comfortable with Camilla. And just before the coronation, they mobilized the British tabloid media and they went on this blitz about how Charles and Camilla should have married years ago, the love affair of the ages, and how they were meant to be. And Charles, with his sense of duty, is the reason why he mistreated and destroyed Princess Diana's life. And never mind all of the manipulation that Camilla had committed. But so they sold it big time. And of course, Jeannie Bond was one of those people who tried to close the deal with the public, even though nobody was really buying it. There's not a great deal of support for Camilla. People tolerate Camilla, but there's no great support for Camilla. I could assure you of that. People tolerate Charles. And there's a tepid amount of support for him, but people mostly tolerate him, knowing that he won't live forever. Got it? Anyways, so that was a little clever thing that they pulled. How did they get the Queen to do this, seeing that the Queen had little or no interest in Camilla whatsoever? As I said yesterday, most people think it was some deal negotiated that involved Charles and his perpetual care of his brother, Andrew, the sick old man. So Richard Palmer, who I said earlier sometimes can say some really logical, sensible things. Let me see. The Queen did not consult the government over the U-turn on Queen Camilla. Downing Street was not made aware, but the constitutional experts were surprised that the monarch did not seek approval. Meaning, why did Queen Elizabeth II suddenly do a complete 180 and decide to give her consent and approval to Camilla becoming Queen Consort? Nobody knows. One perspective, what does he says here? We know, as I pointed out yesterday, that the Queen can't even give an audience to the leader of an opposition or any other of her privy counselors without the permission of her prime minister. Isn't it then surprising that she wouldn't, that is, consult a prime minister over this? See what I mean? When they want to do some work, they will actually do their jobs. Surprisingly, they will do their job sometime. And then Emily Andrews says, having met her several times, I really like Camilla, but the PR campaign and spin of the last week, which is what I was just speaking of, has been extraordinary. The Daily Mail would have been the first paper to lay siege to any idea of Queen Camilla. Now they are putty in, what is it? Charles hand? The invisible contract is real. Well, seeing that Camilla was seen at some event kissing the cheek, or was it kissing the ring, of Lord Nappyhead, the racially ambiguous owner of the Daily Mail, of course there would be no pushback, because Camilla has been working her way through the so-called media, tabloid media. She has been gaining alliances with them for years. So, of course, there was no pushback. Things that should be a huge headache for Camilla is never spoken of. As a matter of fact, as Emily Andrews said, the invisible contract is real. And we all know it is. They pretend it's not. Most people have no interest or don't care. And so that's why they can get away with the stuff they get away with, because there's no great urgency. There's no pushback to any of this. The people who should say something won't say anything. So there you have it. No pushback. Camilla gets to be the queen consort. And then just before the coronation, they said, you know what? All of this fuss about consort, she'll just be the queen. And that's the way it's been ever since, like it or not. But as we all know, according to the Lady Sussex, she's that woman. That woman. And who is that woman? I love when she says that. Yeah, so according to Lady Sussex, she's not the queen consort. She's that woman. Now, no wonder she's smiling as Camilla takes center stage with the husband she lifted from gloomy introspection while she soon be queen in her own name. And that was back in 2013. That was back in do you see that? They were saying that back in 2013. Richard Kay wrote about that back in 2013. That she would soon be queen in all but name. But of course, now she is queen by name. Back in 2013, there's your evidence. Oh, she won't be known as queen, princess consort. Queen Camilla. She's been working on it for years. Jan Moore, who is also capable of the occasional truth, says, since the queen died, I've struggled to see what the point is of the royal family anymore. Is that wrong? She was saying what everybody else was thinking. That's all. But she had to form it in a question so not to upset too many people. So not to look like she's part of some French militia or something. So she had to pose it into a question. But at the end of the day, whether you call her princess consort, Duchess of Cornwall, Duchess of Wales, queen consort, the queen, whatever you call her, she is definitely Timu. She is definitely the Timu version of the queen that so many people has grown up with all these years, right? She is definitely something from Timu. A cheap set of goods in comparison to a proper purchase. Queen Elizabeth II, regal in every way. There was never a time when she was not the queen. Whether you liked her or not, she always rose to the occasion, painfully rising to the occasions in some instances where you just be like, can't she just loosen up? She's the queen and everybody knows it. But this other one who staggers about, blowing her dragon breath in people's face, wearing dresses that look like they come from the $5 bin at the FW Woolworths. Those cartoonish Minnie Mouse shoes. I don't know why those shoes remind me of Minnie Mouse. It seems like some Disney character should be strutting around the Magic Kingdom wearing those. So there she is with her 5 and dime dress, the Minnie Mouse slippers, And of course, what appears to be a shower curtain or something. I don't know what the hell she's got on, but not exactly regal at all. Just a big sloppy mess. A big sloppy mess. All of that scheming and manipulation, you would think that there would be something on the other side of that, but instead, sloppy, a big slob, sloppy slob. And as for the Queen, thinking about what Jan Moore said, the Queen toward the end wasn't really the Queen anymore. She was some cardboard cutout, a characterization, which is why they were able to get away with this whole Queen consort thing, is because the Queen wasn't altogether there. She wasn't altogether there. They took terrible advantage of her age. They took terrible advantage of her health. The Queen was extremely unhealthy toward the end, not being respected by Charles's household. They said between the two royal households, Charles was acting as a regent for the Queen. The Queen wasn't really making any decisions anymore. Anything that Charles didn't like, he just changed it. He actually allegedly took her staff away and replaced them with people that he approved of. People who can see to her transition, if you know what I mean, the transfer of power. And so she had no autonomy. She had no license. She didn't have anything. Anything that she wanted to do was filtered through people that were representing her son and his interests, his wishes. Kind of a sad way to go for someone who had been such a formidable person. It's kind of a sad way to go. No authority anymore, just literally a figurehead. So I think at Time Magazine, realizing this, when they made this cover, they just decided to use a cardboard cutout to represent Queen Elizabeth. Very sad. And of course, the Queen would be rolling around in her lead box. What sort of person wears another wedding gift necklace? It was very sentimental piece to the Queen. The necklace doesn't even hang right on that horse's neck. Well, I blocked the name of the person who said that, but some of those pieces are so identified with Queen Elizabeth that you would think that it would be rather awkward to wear them, but not for Camilla. As a matter of fact, it's not so much what Camilla wears. The greater question is, what wouldn't she wear? Because she tends to, wear whatever. There's so many pieces of jewelry available that she could wear something different every day for probably the next 100 years. And yet she goes after things that are identified with Queen Elizabeth II, which is disgusting. And of course, the Queen, much to her credit, she pretended as though she was warming up to Camilla, but the truth is she could not stand to have that beast around her. She could not stand her. It was more than what she could take some days, but because she was the Queen and because she was expected to be available to her subjects in a certain way, she went along to do whatever had to be done. She just go along with it. So, but that's how she was. She did not want to disappoint people. She did not want to let anybody down or create an awkward situation that would be in the papers the next day. So, but just the same, sometimes she could not hide her feelings when it came to Camilla. So let me see. You can see the Queen was like, I know that heifer ain't tried to kiss me. I know she ain't tried to kiss me. Back up. I said back up. Before I send you to the tower, do not attempt to kiss me. We ain't like that. We ain't like that. Charles undermined late Queen plan to sue News UK Prince Harry tells court. This is what I was just talking about. The Queen could not make decisions toward the end. Whatever she wanted, Charles would just hijack. Very few times could she actually do anything or say anything. I think she was afraid, and dare I say, she was subjected to what is it? Starts with a E. Next word starts with A. Yeah, I think she may have been subject to that. Who knows? Harry claims his father intervened because he wanted to ensure the son supported his and Camilla's future reign. So not only was Charles and Camilla beholden to the Daily Mail, but also they wanted the support of Rupert Murdoch, who probably could destroy them if he wanted to. And so the Queen, as she wrote to her, was it her lawyer or her aide or whatever, you will understand well that ensuring that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex remain safe is of paramount importance to Her Majesty and her family. Okay, so that was one of her people writing on her behalf, but did not happen. Did not happen because Charles intervened. And so when I say that I don't have good feelings about that man and the way he has treated his son, he has been awful. He is a terrible father, terrible. And the tabloids, if they were not beholden to them, they would likely write about these things, but they won't. They have been given instructions to destroy Harry and Meghan in any way they can. And so you can write whatever you want about the Sussexes, but you can't say anything bad about Charles or Camilla or William or Kitty, which is okay. I don't have much of a platform. It's not a very big platform, but I'll say the bad things. I feel obliged to do it. So maybe I don't get the type of coverage as I would wish, but I feel obliged to set the record straight whenever possible. What do you think that look was about? What do you think they're plotting? What does that look say? Where is the body language experts? While two of the most manipulative people, two women who have so much in common, the two women who managed to make their way all the way up to the top by being patient, by being available when others ran for the hills. I don't know that Kate would ever have the same skill of manipulation with the tabloid media that Camilla has. So far, she hasn't really had to. Wearing a nice frock and being the mother of the future king and everything, as long as she stays married to William, she's safe. But if she ever tries to walk away from that institution, they will make mincemeat out of her. Do you understand me? Not just her, but her entire family. They will destroy them if she ever walked away from that institution. You're not allowed to do that. Not allowed. So anyway, they understand each other very well. All things come to those who wait. Just be patient. Put on the pantomime and just be patient. Yes, please, thumbs up, you guys. Thumbs up. This is how we keep the lights on. This is how we create further engagement. You must do the thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed, please do. New subscribers for the channel has been at a standstill. And I know there's a lot of people watching that are not subscribed, but I appeal to your good nature. Please do subscribe if you're not. If you're watching on television and you know you have not subscribed, it may be a little difficult on the television, but it's definitely doable on a tablet or your mobile device. So please take the time to do that. And also, likewise, watching on television is awkward to like a program, but you're getting hours and hours and hours of Royal Sussex every week. And it doesn't cost you anything. So please do support Royal Sussex. Especially you hate watchers. As much as you can stand the sound of my voice, you have been entertained, amused, and even informed. And just like a Trump supporter, knowing what the truth is, you still support those people because maybe you don't like black people or whatever the case may be. You're just a nasty right winger. But if you are hate watching, just hit the thumbs up anyway. Or hit the thumbs down. You can do that too. Charles loved his mother so much. And the Queen, Queen Camilla, the Queen consort, Queen Godzilla, loved her mother-in-law so much that when they felt a bit under the weather, maybe they had a conversation, maybe not. Maybe Charles and Camilla just looked at each other, and Charles understood the mission at that point. He understood the what is that they say? He understood the how did they say that? He understood the mission, understood the program. Well, you know what I mean. He understood what he was supposed to do, what job he had to do. Your throat is sore. You have no taste in your mouth. You're sweaty. You're not feeling well. You've experienced this before, and now you're feeling it again. Do I stay home and isolate while my mother lives in that bubble? Oh, he understood the assignment. Thank you. Or do I go over to Windsor Castle, where my mother has been living in complete isolation with a staff of people who have been tested and tested again, where she's absolutely safe? Or do I go over to Windsor Castle, probably didn't take a test. I don't know. And I'll just sit down right next to my mother, snotting and blowing and coughing and wheezing. I'll sit right next to her and have lunch with her. How about that? Right? That's what a good son does. And what happens? Fear for the queen as Palace refuses to say if she has the big C. After it is revealed that she met Charles 2 days before he tested positive, Monarch 95 is being monitored. 95-year-old defenseless woman is being monitored but is not displaying symptoms. Now, you guys, I was very critical of that family because I saw Charles, Camilla, and especially Kate and Willie. Even Sarah, all of them have been guilty of this. Sophie, Edwina, I see them around the public. They would go places and everybody else has a mask on, but they don't. Not the ordained and privileged, they wouldn't wear a mask. Rarely did they wear a mask. And even with so-called cancer, Charles goes out shaking hands with people. He's not wearing a mask. They're not wearing a mask. Old habits die hard, don't they? Prince Charles tested positive for the big C for a second time. Charles met the Queen on Tuesday, just 2 days before the 73-year-old royal announced he had it for a second time. Sources insist Monarch 95 is showing no symptoms of virus, right? This just goes to show you how neglected, in my opinion, allegedly, how neglected Queen Elizabeth was toward the end. This is February of 2022. She ain't had much longer. By September, she'll be dead. Oh, what is that? The Queen catches it. Isn't that something? I wonder how that happened. Oh, wait, what is it? A Windsor Castle outbreak? You mean to tell me for all that time the Queen was perfectly safe? Gloves, mask, this, that. The Queen was perfectly safe at Windsor Castle. And it wasn't until she had lunch with her son that he later is positive, catching it for a second time. But it wasn't him that is the culprit. It was a palace outbreak. Yeah, it was a palace outbreak. Those people that have been tested, monitored, and living in seclusion so that they could care for the monarch. Not even exposed to their families or friends. They're living in a bubble. But it wasn't Charles who was around other people, shaking hands and then licking his hands and licking his fat sausage fingers. You know what I mean? Camilla and her kids and stuff all around and grandkids and but none of that mattered. It wasn't him, it was the staff. No staff member was ever identified. I'm sure no staff member was ever accused because I think we all know what the source of the outbreak was. Charles met the Queen on Tuesday, just 2 days before the 73-year-old announced he had it for a second time. Sources insist Monarch 95 is showing no symptoms. Well, she wasn't until she was. She wasn't until she was. Palace, castle outbreak. Yeah, there you go. Castle outbreak. They lie, you guys. They will lie. There are so many lies that comes out of that institution. Every day, you cannot believe anything that they say. Now, I don't know for sure. I have to allege what I believe happened. But it also helps to make the case that you cannot trust that institution. And that's what Harry knew when he went on that NBC morning show with Hoda Kotb, when he said, I just want to make sure my grandmother have the right people around her, because she didn't. She had her son around her, and that wasn't the right people. And then, of course, never let a disaster go to waste. As the Queen recovered, they said that she could be an example to us all, right? But this person that went on the, I think it was Jeremy Vine, panelist Stunned, saying Queen work is colossal waste of time. They were trying to say that the Queen was working and that should be an example to everybody. What work? Charles was the one going through those red boxes, not the Queen. She hadn't done that for a long time. There was no work for her to do. What, sign some papers? It's not like she was calling world leaders and meeting with this person and that person. She didn't have much to do. She was living in isolation because of the global pandemic. They just make up stuff. They literally just make up stuff. They make it up as they go along, which is a polite way of saying they lied. Remember when Kate was supposed to be laying in bed doing work? Kate's going to work from home. Kate don't work away from home. How's Kate working at home? And of course, they were trying to make a case against Joe Biden and the Democrats, their approach to, isolation and such. So they were using the Queen in another country, the Queen of another country, as an example to try to get people to go back to work and back to school, even if they didn't feel safe, and probably even if they were sick. The King and Queen will not hold a private family gathering at Balmoral Estate to commemorate the passing of the late monarch, and no public event is planned. Well, that is what they thought of 70 years of stability, 70 years of Queen Elizabeth II. And a year after her death, they were not interested in any type of memorial, public or private. They just didn't care. Inside story of how Charles' 23-year fight to persuade Queen to forgive Camilla. Well, it don't matter now because she's dead. So there's no need to forgive. In the end, Charles got everything he wanted. And even worse, Camilla got everything she wanted. They cared so little for her that Charles went over there with all of the public interactions that he had. Whether he gave it to her or not, we'll never know. But the idea that he would put his mother at risk is disturbing. When she was taking her last breath, Charles, the very model of a good parent, as I say sarcastically, he was out looking for mushrooms while his sister, the only real man in the family, sat by her mother's bedside. He went outside looking for mushrooms. And seeing how frail she was before she died, I couldn't understand why he wasn't at the house with her as she was progressively getting worse. He was setting up for an interview with one of those Bush girls. Everybody looked at the Queen shake hands with Liz Truss, and they were like, any minute now, any minute now. Not Charles. Not Charles. Princess Anne, yes. Charles, no. He just didn't care. He did not care. And I do hope that when the time comes when he's not able to look after himself, I hope that William pays it forward for him. I really do. The care and consideration that he gave his mother, I hope that William will do the same. I do. I hope that William gives to him what he gave to his own mama, and to some degree, the same type of treatment that he gave to his other son. I wish that for him. Now, speaking of the other son, Graham Smith, I told you guys I had a lot today. God, I hope I'm almost done. Graham Smith says, seriously, are the royals and their acolytes just taking the piss? Let me see, what work life? Oh, yeah. They were talking about, okay, you see right there, it says Prince William struggles to balance of home and work life in hardest year. And so, of course, he's like, what work life? Graham Smith has been trolling William for a very long time, and I love it. I'm here for it. And of course, he says that what work life? Because there isn't any work life. He doesn't work. William does not work. William may as well be some aristocrat of some country estate with a very good land manager, because he does nothing for himself. But since they're talking about going on these foreign tours again, take a look at this one. Wait, where is it? Oh, do I have the other one? Oh, I think I have this in the wrong place. I'm so sorry for that, but it'll make sense in a minute. I'll get to it. So you can see the famous Caribbean tour where William and Kate made such fools of themselves. Well, apparently, oh, you know what? Let me take a look here. I'm going to see how many more slides I have. I mean, I guess I could just wrap it up and come back tomorrow with the rest. Or not. Oh, I'm almost done. I got like 5 slides. Yeah, I got like 5 slides. And I don't think I put the other slide up for what is the guy's name? Graham Smith. But anyway, when Graham Smith heard that William and Kate were going to do their foreign tours again, he said that he hoped. Oh, let me take some water. Losing my voice. He said that he hoped that they would go back to the Caribbean and finish the job. Graham Smith said that he hopes that William and Kate would please go back to the Caribbean so they can finish the job. Now, I don't know if Graham Smith watches Royal Sussex, but if you ask me what finish the job is, I'm going to have to say finish the job is losing the rest of the Caribbean, because they already lost half of the Caribbean Commonwealth. But if they go back again, they could finish the job by losing the rest of the Commonwealth. So I could only imagine that that's what he meant by that. But anyway, God bless Graham Smith for trolling not only William, but the entire institution. Oh, there it is. I don't think I I don't think that I put it in the slides, but I will show it to you. I just found it. Just so you can see what I am speaking of. There we go. Let's hope they go back to the Caribbean and finish the job that they started last time that they were there. And it was because Emily Ferguson says the Prince and Princess of Wales aim to undertake overseas tours again next year. William has revealed the couple had 2 trips planned for this year, but were canceled due to. Now, see, I had that earlier, but I think I had cut off the Graham Smith part. So now you can see what he's speaking of. So that is why I shared a few of these images of the Caribbean tour where they effed up bigly. They made a huge faux pas. Let's see, had the same treatment. It was the same for most monarchs. George VI died alone. George V, offed by his physician. Elizabeth with only Anne. They are not like us. Thank you, Hazel Jones. Thank you. That is very well put. That in the end, that they all kind of just linger without the pomp and circumstance that they're accustomed to. That is so true. That is very true. I'm not even going to say sad but true, because it's hard to be sad for someone who is in a position like theirs. But oh well, such is the job, isn't it? Prince Harry's heartfelt remembrance letter to the bereaved military children. I'm not going to share the letter again, but as you guys know, Harry had the letter the other day where he spoke out to the bereaved children of the Scottish little soldiers. So I was just sharing that little image with you. And these are the kids today, or yesterday as it was. I believe that they were going to march at the Remembrance Day. So just so you get a little look at the kids before they went out for Remembrance Day. That's what that image is right there. And then there's this, just a little bit more of the Remembrance Day. These were the headlines for the other papers talking about Remembrance Day. Kate Middleton was the big draw for the event that barely anybody showed up to. Instead of talking about all of those things to do with Charles and William and their big, massive real estate portfolio and the privileges they have with their finances, it was all about Kate. None of the papers really covered it. Even here, I don't think there was any mention of it. Oh, I see Kitty and Sophie are, well, said were laugh out loud at a somber moment. How disrespectful. Well, as I said earlier, it was very performative, but for the most part, there was the usual jolliness exchange between Kate and whoever is standing next to her, usually Sophie. But when it came time for the big moments, that's when they decided to put on their performances again. Today, Remembrance Sunday, Cenotaph, and it says, I guess it's no longer protocol to be smiling on Remembrance Day. You would see Betty laugh out loud on this day. Respect has gone for the royals honoring the dead. Whose fault? Okay, well, anyway, yeah, you can see. That was just a couple of things some other squaddies shared. And that's that, you guys. I am done. Phew. I did not mean for that to happen, but it was just so much stuff I was finding. So good night. God bless. Thank you all so much. There's a link at the top of the chat for the Lady Sussex in case you missed it today. Remember, every Sunday, George, Charles, and the Lady Sussex, they have a great Sunday morning show. They talked a bit about the election and about the work that we must continue to do, especially as far as this community is concerned. There was lots of talk about this community, and I'm so grateful for that because this community does mean a lot to a lot of people. And even if you don't watch Royal Sussex or you don't watch every day, I invite you to support the other content creators. And if at any time this material is a big downer for you, if you feel as though it is too much of this or that, whatever, it does not matter which channels you're watching, protect your mental health. Switch it off. Switch it off. Go and do something that will help to preserve your sanity. But switch it off because you alone cannot solve all these problems. We have to do it as a community, but you don't have to be available for everything all the time. You don't have to do that to yourself. And especially after the election, I know a lot of people were feeling a certain way. And I'd have to say for a certain period of time, I felt that way too. As you know, it was a lot of stuff going on with my aunt, some other things in the family, the election, and so on. So there was a lot going on. And I don't know how I managed to, keep things together, but I did. And I can only say that it's probably this community that made that possible. So I'm going to go and rest my dry voice. Probably have a few of those Connie Balmer Ricolas that she was nice enough to send me. I mean, to tell you guys, I have a variety of Ricolas. So thank you for that, Connie Balmer. And I think that's it. So sorry that it was so long today, but I found some interesting stuff, patterns, behavior, and I just wanted to share it for anyone who was interested. So again, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're not a member, please do become one. Doesn't cost you anything. Or you could get a membership. Oh, okay, subscriber. I should have said subscriber, but yeah, if you're not a member, please consider getting a membership to help support this channel. That would be amazing if you could. There we go. All right. Let me see. What else do we have here? Again, happy birthday, Elaine Parker. Oh, Connie Balmer, you must be starting your day. I hope you have a very productive day. Oh, I don't know how to do that exactly. Let me see what I can do. So for the membership you're speaking of, let me see here. Oh, wow. Let me see here. Oh, I just saw a podcast talking about Charles and William. I'm going to review that. And if I like it, I'll put it in the community tab. I got to see if this person, is shady to Harry and Meghan. I don't share people that's shady to the Sussexes. But okay, the membership. I'm going to go to the membership. And I'm going to put that here. And then at the top of the chat. So I will pin it if anyone is interested in becoming a member. I'll make it easier for you. Okay, there it is. It's at the top of the chat. So if you're interested in becoming a member, all you have to do is click on that link at the top of the chat. You can see it up there. It says Royal Sussex. That is for the membership. Well, according to what's her name, Jeannie Bond, it is a very, very busy thing. I don't know how I have time to blow my nose or sleep for that matter, because at any given moment there's a divorce, there's a castle on fire. I mean, there's all kind of stuff that comes up. So, but we do what we can. Just like I have another office chair that I keep thinking of that I need to put together, and I can't even assemble my other chair. See? This one is squeaking and everything. I have another chair. I don't have time to assemble it because the royal beat. That's that royal beat. The main page. Can you join on the main page? Well, if you are looking for memberships, how to do a membership, you can go to the comment section, and usually I have it linked at the comment section where you can just go and click on. Let me see if that's there. Let me see. But yeah, every time I finish a live video, let me see. Yeah, if you go to the comment section, at the very top of the comment section, there's a link there for memberships. And it is on most of the videos for like the past year or so. So after the video, or go to any of the videos and go to the comment section, and it should be pinned to the very top of the comment section of the other videos. And there's a link up there. You may have to expand it to see it, but there's a link that says memberships, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Buy Me a Coffee, and Royal Sussex membership, and of course, the Royal Sussex wish list. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, from the main page, I don't know. I don't know if we see the same thing on the main page because, of course, as a content creator, I may see something different. But yeah, from the main page, I see it. Home, video, shorts, live, playlist, community membership, store. Yeah. You may have to expand it if it's not wide enough. I don't know what kind of screen you're using, but you may have to expand it. But it's there. It's there. But yeah, sometimes on different phones, it may be, or electronic devices, it may be formatted differently. But it's usually there. Okay, so I'm going to take what's left of my voice and I'm going to review this person who it looks like he's dragging Chucky and Willie. And if I like it, I'll put that in the community tab. And also, I will put the link for the, what do you call this? Memberships. I'll put that in the community tab again. Oh, yeah, I just figured out how I could do that. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. You just gave me an idea. Capito just gave me an idea. All right, you guys, I'm done. Say good night. Good night, everyone. I am done. I don't want to keep you any longer than you have to. So let us all say good night. Okay. I just had a bright idea. I'm going to put this. I don't have to be online to do this. I should say goodnight. I can do this later by myself. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm sitting up here working on something. Okay. No Ginger Avenger tonight. I am going to do something different. All right. Love you guys. See you. Thank you, moderators. And don't forget to pray for Church Nellie and Jerry White, Dorothy Ross, and anybody else who is going through surgery, treatment, or has suffered a loss in the family. Pray for all of the squatties. This community is very important, and so much so for some. And oh, you guys, it's amazing. Some of the stuff that we've done, it really is. It's amazing. So I will see you all tomorrow or later today, whichever comes first.